Shalom, my little friends. Nike. Now, remember, these stories are the stories of the false gods, fallen angels. These are Greek mythology and Hindu mythologies and, Egyptian mythology. This is all stuff that's of the fallen angels, the false gods. Nike was the winged false goddess of victory both in war and in peaceful competition. When Zeus was gathering allies at the start of the Titan War, Styx brought her 4 children: Nike, victory; Zelos, rivalry; Kratos, Cractus, strength; and Baia, force. There's that force. Into the false god's service. Nike was appointed his charioteer, and together the 4 became centils of Zeus's throne. Africa, the favored roaming ground of the golden generation of mortals, was a place of serenity. However, the Titans, under the leadership of Kronos, despised the idyllic state of affairs and began to mistreat the inhabitants. Kronos also mistreated his children. When the youngest of his children, Zeus, came of age, he vowed to overthrow his father's rule, gathering his allies at Mount Olympus. Zeus launched an almighty attack on Kronos and the Titans that took place across the world, the war known as it means Titan battle. I can't say that word. I done tried 1,000 times on this one. I'm sorry. The final battlefield was in Africa, a largely flat-surfaced continent. However, the topography was radically altered during the Titan battle. The 100-handed giants, known as the Hecatonacheres, I don't know, I hope, threw mountains at their titanic foes, and this greatly disfigured the land. Then the tribe of the heavy-footed giants further shaped the landscape, creating what is known now as the Great Rift Valley, an apt term because it alludes to both the tectonic structure of the area as well as the story of the great rift between the elder false gods and the new false gods, mothered in might. Zeus, furnished with thunderbolts fashioned by the one-eyed Cyclopses, mastered the clouds and rained lightning and thunder upon his titanic foes that sent them scampering in shock into the dark abyss of Tartarus. These heavy climatic conditions created the precipitation that formed into the many lakes of Africa, including the 2 chief sources of the great river Nile, Lake Tana, Lake Dimbaya, as the ancients called it, and Lake Victory, Lake Nilos, as the ancients called it. The Olympians emerged triumphant from the battle, and thus the war, an outcome that owed much to the endeavor of Zeus, staunched ally in the Titan battle. False goddess Nike. Homeward bound to Mount Olympus, and as he flew by the newly created lakes, Zeus named the lakes so that they would serve to remind false gods and mortals of the great victory and as a warning against rebellion. Lake Nilos, now named Lake Victoria, was named after a Golden Age mortal who considered himself the son of Kronos, the defeated Titan. Kneeling on the lake shore with Kronos' horn to his mouth, Nilus blew so mightily that it created titanic waves that burst the banks of the lake and created a north-flowing river. Lake Nilos had various descriptive names given to it over time. During an expedition to find the source of the great river in 1858, a British explorer, John Speke, named the lake Victoria, seemingly in honor of Queen Victoria of the British Empire. However, the explorer's personal journey revealed that the natives spoke of ancient myth. A man, a survivor from a battle, knelt down and cried until the lake appeared, and his last words before drowning in his own tears was victory, and thus Victoria was both politically and mythologically expedient. This ancient myth was a figurative account of Nilos' reaction to the Titan battle, with his last word being the word he heard as Zeus and his allies departed the scene, Nike, the Greek word for victory. The meaning of the word Nike. Many miles north, Zeus anointed the last lake, Okeos and Tethys, you see it, By 600 BC, the term Itiru fell into disuse as the local population had switched to worshipping Nilos as the river false god in the hope that this would appease the false god and thus prevent the extremities of flooding and drought. Slowly, River Nike was renamed River Nilos, and from the streams, the name Nile. See, the River Nile, look at that, child of the heights. From the great heights of the Lake Nilos and Lake Dembaya, the great river descended. On the edge of the last cataract in the river, as it entered the sandy plains, the first permanent human settlement was created during the Silver Age of Mortals. Silver Age of Mortals. Look at that, silver. The settlement was named Swinit. Today it is called Aswan. The first mortal children were born in Swinit, and because of this, the ancients of Egypt suspected this name belonging to the false goddess of childbirth, Elathia, but they were mistaken. Where then did Swinit get its name and its meaning? This is the second story told in book whatever. Okay. Nike is a Greek word pronounced Nike, and it is synonymous with the word victory. Its origins are rooted in Proto-Indo-European languages to mean first, victor, and aphor from Nakhai, pronounced Nihe. Nahi, I'm not sure. It is postulated that Nikhai might have been combined with Sekai to cut or split, to allude to the idea that a victor is separated from all others, or that Nike comes from Nehe, to be excited or to shine, and Kai, fast or violent. Let's stop right there for a second. Jesus Freak Computer Geek was on, I think it was Awakened Saint. Pretty sure it was on Awakened Saint, and I believe that it was like, it was less than that, maybe 3 months ago. And he was talking about this. He was talking about Nike. That's what got me on this, was Jesus Freak Computer Geek. He was talking about the symbol of the Nike symbol. I just thought I'd add that. The ancient Afro-Asiatic word Nakite, to mean a combination of victor, strong, perilous, and divinely blessed, has also been suggested as a root for Nike, but whilst the two words are tantamount, please excuse my spelling, they are etymologically independent of one another. I'm sorry, I can't help it. The kit was often appended to the name of pharaohs, who were embodiments of the Egyptian false god Horus. In turn, Horus received the epithet Nakhite from the false goddess mother Isis after he subdued his uncle Set. There's that Set again. In battle after Set had mutilated Horus's father Osiris. This battle between the new and the old order has similarities with the Greek myth of the Titan battle. My mother bestowed me, Nike, to my cousin Zeus as his divine charioteer. I helped him overthrow his father Kronos and the Titans, who had previously conspired and castrated their own father Uranus. Never heard of that one. In the aftermath, I think they misspelled. I think it's supposed to be Kronos. Aftermath of the battle, Zeus, the Olympic allies, and I flew over the land now known as Egypt. I guess it's a little story. Nike in Latin is Victoria, and that is why I'm also called the... Oh, wait a minute. Wait. I don't want to read that. That is why she is also called the false goddess of Victoria, and the English word victory derives from the Latin word victoria itself derives from Vayaya, a word in the ancient Aryan language of Sanskrit. There we are. Vayai is a title of Arjuna, an Indian mythological figure considered to be the greatest warrior of all time. Arjun received his title from the divine charioteer Krishna, an avatar of Vishnu, who a deity of Narayana, the false supreme soul. Vishnu is conjugated from vi, to set apart, and shnu, mountaintops, to mean, oh, there's those mountaintops. We've been talking a lot about that on here. The one who sets apart the highest peaks, and this is similar to the one of the Proto-Indo-European roots of Nike mentioned above. The idea that a victor is set apart from all others. Vishnu is male, and Lakshmi, the false goddess of prosperity, wisdom, fortune, fertility, and courage, is his female complement. Lakshmi is derived from the word lax, to perceive, and this gives her name as a similar meaning to Athena, my false dear sister. Oh no, wait, her, Nike's dear sister. Thus, as a pair and a protector, and as protectors and supporters of humankind, Vishnu and Lakshmi are the Vedic manifestation of Athena and Nike. I guess that's what that is. Yeah. Now, Lakshmi, it's luck. Look that up yourself. In Hindu, that's the false goddess of luck. That word luck is popping up everywhere. I'm finding out so much about this word and how it is just seeped into our existence. Everybody's saying it, you know. I think there's a false god, and oh yeah, the Dharmadal. I couldn't remember the Dharmadal that was given to CERN from the Japanese. It represents luck. It's a symbol for luck. I'm telling you, man, that word is being spoken behind pulpits too. It just, where the word of God is being spoken, hurts my heart. It just hurts my heart. According to the Montgomery's Dictionary of Maya hieroglyphs, the glyph corresponding to the sound nak as a verb means to be victorious, to conquer, to ascend, to elevate, and to rise. And as a noun, it means a crown, one of Nike's symbols, and it is also used as a numerical classifier to denote ranking. The Japanese word Nikko, to mean sunshine or ray of light, contains the Proto-Indo-European suggestive of ni, which means to shine or be excited. It is from this root ni that the native pronoun for Japan, Nippon, emerged to mean the sun's origin, or figuratively the land of the rising sun. To the false gods, the land was known as the East Island. Look at that, the East. And that word, in the last video we talked about the Euphrates. It was in the heart of this land, an area subsequently called Nikko, that the mountaintop confrontation between Zeus, the thunderer, and an unnamed and unknown man took place. This event furnished the locality with its many descriptive names. For instance, the volcanic mountain is known as both Nantai, meaning man's body, and Futura, meaning two storms. The word Nike, derived from Nike, means shining ancestor, and it refers to Nike's sudden appearance during the two storms. The first storm occurred between Zeus and the man, and the second storm between Zeus and Nike, and it heralded a new future beyond the false god-inspired world fronted by the Olympian false gods to the mortal-inspired world of human beings. Nike is an Arabic word for sexual intercourse. That's what we talked about Job 38. And this elemental procreative act is a form of Nike. Microscopic studies of human sexual intercourse illustrate that a single sperm cell, automanervus, and gains Nike or victory over millions of other sperm cells by penetrating and fertilizing the female egg cell. The social form of Naki is Nakha, the institution of marriage, and it is considered in Semitic cultures as the primary unit of community and fundamental for communal Nasr, victory. Now look at that. Yesterday, straight up, we've got worm breeding. What was one of the constellations? I believe it was. I can't remember which one. It was talking about sexual intercourse. This is all in Job 38. The one I did on Job 38. Not I, but Yahushua Jesus through me. That was all about Nike. Every bit of that. Nike and the Nile are the same thing. And then we found out, Nike is linked to Lashmi and they're all same stuff, man. It's all the same stuff, but from the East. In the book of Revelation, these kings that come from the East, now you know that these false gods, these mythologies, are straight up, they've taken and defiled prophecy. Maybe they're going to try to fulfill prophecy, with maybe the mythologies are the false fulfilling prophecies that the Light God Sea Warrior keeps speaking about. Because there's so much about what these stories tell of these false gods and the giants, and how that some of them link to the Bible prophecies. Well, we know they ain't nothing of Jesus. They're false. So I just wonder if the mythological stories are the false prophecies that are being fulfilled. That these that try to sound the trumpet early, that try to gather all the people together early before our Father's appointed time. They ain't gonna be able to prevail, that's for sure. Anyway, let's see. The name Nike has the same meaning of the Greek word. Okay, we already did all that. Sticks. Now, where did the sticks? Y'all can see all that. Okay, victory can be taken from the nature of family. Alright, you'll see that. Some concept of victory can be taken from the nature of her family. An oath is a promise to behave in a certain way and is connected to the determination for victory. Force, supremacy, and zeal are also components of victory. This family gives victory a formal and serious quality. Victory is more like a legal settlement of a case than a game played for fun. Life was early associated with air because the need for air is so immediate. The birds, it's talking about these angels, these false angels, these false gods. The birds flew in the air and were often associated with the spirit of life. No, Jesus, Yahushua, is the spirit of life. Since a winged flight is associated with the victory over death, it is easily associated with victory. Hence, victory is associated with the winged false goddess Nike. Nike is an aspect of Athena and is essentially an Athena with wings. The migration of birds often provided ancient Greeks with useful calendar information about when to plant and harvest crops. This was the reason birds became associated with the divine. The flights of birds and parts of birds were also information about plant harvest crops. Birds were also used for prophecy and divination. Images of bird false goddesses are available for Armeno, Egyptian, and Mid-Eastern cultures. Here's Nike giving a wreath at the Olympics. That's why, all these baseball games, football games, basketball games, the Olympics, it's all this false god worship, the mind control, the domination. And look at the symbols down at the bottom there. Look at your symbols. Those symbols. I've done videos on this. The God's machine. Those symbols are everywhere. That is Freemason occult symbols, and it goes way back. It goes back to Babylon, man. Okay. Moral lessons associated with Nike. Nike is very much associated with the Olympics and victories. One of the Olympic concepts I have considered is the pentathlon. Pentathlon? That looks like Pentagon almost. The pentathlon consisted of 5 separate parts: jump, fortress, foot race, discus, javelin, wrestling. All the everything I just named with the football games and whatnot. The word pentathlon itself means 5 prizes. The word can be divided into 2 components: pent and athlon. Pent means 5 and has an Indo-European root. Athlon means prize, but its root is not known. It may be minion. The connection between prizes and victory is obvious. Nike is related to Athena because strategy is related to victory, and Nike and Athena are often identified. And there is a similarity between the name Athena and Athlon. Now, it is interesting to note that the training seems to have been first associated with the Olympics. The word athlete is related to the word athlon. It was a part of the Olympics that the competitions involved being in the nude, and so was the gymnasium where athletes went to become nude and train for the Olympics. The word gymnasium is from the word naked, so there seems to be a connection. Woo! Lord Jesus. Oh, Yeshua HaMashiach. Oh, bless these children. Bless all of us that have been deceived. So, by the beginning of the classic period in Greece, the word gymnasium becomes equivalent to school. What? The competitive nature of the Greeks has extended the training of the Greeks in the gymnasium from athletics to music, rhetoric, and even geometry. So the same aspect of life that made Nike important to the Olympics eventually preceded schools that taught many subjects that are intellectual instead of physical. Ultimately, Athens was the center of learning for the world for over 100 years, and the model for that learning has served us even today with our schools and universities. The Olympics were stopped in 369 AD because it was a pagan festival, but the idea of training and education has continued. In 1896, the modern Olympics started. Now we have both influences from ancient Greece. Nike may involve ideas which came from the Minoans to the ancient Greeks and through them to us. These ideas resulted in cultural institutions which we cherish to this day. The ideas involve knowing that there is something valuable that we can train and study for, and that individually and culturally we will all benefit if we pursue it. Here's Nike. There's all your symbols. There she is, that false goddess again. There she is again as Athena with the wings. Now that one's very peculiar. You got your giants. Even her face looks like a giant's face. I don't know what's going on with that picture. But, see, now this, Athena the Weaver. And see, this is where the internet came in, that I knew the internet because this weaving, the weaving of the net weaving, that's what the internet is. That's what the cloud is. That's what these fiber optic cables are. Athena was a weaver and the false goddess of wisdom. She was described as having shining gray eyes, and she would always be accompanied by an owl, now a symbol of wisdom. Often Athena is accompanied by the false goddess of victory, Nike. Athena is always depicted wearing armor and a helmet. She is described as a virgin, that there are no instances of her having any male lovers. The Parthenon is dedicated to Athena, and there's a Parthenon in Nashville. Apparently a woman called Arachne used to boast that she was the best weaver. I'm not going to read all this, but she weaved a tapestry, and it made Athena jealous. She became furious, burned the tapestry. Later on, she regretted it and let's just read it. Apparently, a woman called Arachne used to boast that she was the best weaver ever, and Athena challenged her. Arachne, in her vanity, wove a scene of Zeus in trouble with his many wives, at which Athena became furious and burned the tapestry down along with Arachne. Later on, Arachne, she regretted it and turned Arachne into a spider so that she would weave her beautiful designs forever. After Greece was conquered by Rome, Athena was incorporated with a similar false goddess with Roman mythology called Minerva. Okay, y'all can read all this. Because this is about the spinner, the weaver. You know what? I think we're gonna do that one on another video. Let's go up here to Nike. The false goddess Nike, representing victory and speed, inspired the Nike company logo. So straight up, that's how they got their logo. 1971. A logo of Times, the swoosh. U.S. athletic shoe and apparel company Nike. It became the swoosh. His original idea for the brand name supposedly was Dimension 6. Interesting. To understand the meaning of Nike logo, understand her story. And we've already read her story in mythology, Titan War. Yeah, we've already read all that. To reward her for her efforts, Zeus agrees to keep Nike always close to him, offering eternal protection, which is why in numerous representations, either in sculpture or painting, Nike can be noticed next to Zeus. There's also a sculpture representing Athena where she holds a smaller statue of Nike in one of her hands. And see, there's two different stories with, is Athena Nike, or were they closely related? I think that Athena was Nike. I think that this story, because it's all about the logo and stuff, that they're trying to stray you away, and say they're not the same one, that they're different. I think they're the same. They got a lot. The weaving, the victory, so much. We're not going to read all that. Okay. So they did get it from there. We're going to go back to this weaving. In Japanese story, Amaterasu, Su, Great Shining Heaven, is the Japanese false sun goddess, guardian of the Japanese people and ruler of the false deities. One of her tasks was to weave sacred robes for the false gods. Okay. I'm not going to read all this. You can see it. I'm just going to go through the different ones. Dahlia is the false goddess of weaving and fate in Lithuanian mythology. She was the giver and taker of goods and property and omniscience, false goddess of childbirth and destiny. Dahlia was a spinner, weaver, and seamstress. She is also believed to cut off the cloth of life. English. Okay. January 6th, Twelfth Night was January 6th. The 12th night was once known as her festival day, though it was later replaced by Athena in the Christianity when the church adopted the Gregorian calendar, thereby moving the holiday from the 19th to the 6th. The festival includes a feast of traditional foods of dumplings and a herring. South America, Ixchel is the Mayan false goddess of weaving, healing, and childbirth. Mayan women say that the fabric made on a backstrap loom is not woven, it is born. Although associated with the floods and rains, Ixchel was commonly worshipped as the patron false goddess of weaving and especially childbirth. Weaving and childbirth. Here we are in Job chapter 38. Woo! Praise Yahushua Jesus for his connections. Egypt, Neith, was a false ancient Egyptian false goddess, not very well known, perhaps, unlike her Hellenistic reincarnation Athena. See? Net was a warrior false goddess. She, like Athena, and the false goddess of weaving. Weaver is actually the translation of her name. net, weaving, Athena, Nike, what? The Nile, praise Yahushua Jesus, water, oh, praise Yahushua Jesus, we just love him so much. Maori traditions, Maori passed their knowledge and wisdom between generations through stories and permanently recorded them in carvings and weavings of the various tribes. Weaving wasa, gift from the false gods. Weaving is one of the treasures of Hinatiwiawa, the female personification of the moon. Marama, and also the Maori false goddess of weaving, plaiting, and other arts. The Maori developed the craft of weaving and plaiting to a fine art to make variety articles for use in daily life. Okay, so all this to say is we have a false goddess named Nike, the Nile, and then we have Athena, and we have this neat, this weaving this net. You know, this stuff is for real. It's for real. And the one thing that we need to grasp an understanding of is we can't be hurt by this stuff. This is what protects us, is by having this stuff revealed to us. And it assures us, it comforts us, knowing that our Holy Creator already had the prophets write this stuff down. Already had them telling us what was going to happen. No matter how many mythological prophecies that they fulfill, these false god worshippers, fallen angel worshippers, giant worshippers, no matter how many of these mythological prophecies, they will never be able to exceed our Father's appointed time. Never. They will not overcome us, because Yahushua, the one and only true living Yahuwah God Almighty, lives in us. That's why. Y'all have a blessed day in the name of Yahushua, and thank you so much for listening.